I'm Botond Rozgonyi, a retired Pentecostal pastor and theological teacher, and I was a director of a Christian magazine for women. First, I'm not aware any sexual abuse in my church in the near or long past time that fell into criminal. There were some sexual abuse as well, and to be honest, it's not good, but these cases were not against minors or underage people, so there was no criminal consequences. The sexual ethics of our church is rather strict, and in these cases the church officers had to quit their position because of the sexual abuse. As for the politics, I think in Hungary the governing political party defines itself as a Christian and nationalistic and conservative, and as a so-called Christian party want to use the churches, the Christian churches, as natural allies on the basis of ideological foundations. In itself, it's not a problem. The problem arises when the churches are domineered by the government, by the politics, and partly it is the situation because the government refers so-called Christian values, but these referring, I think, misuse, because Christian values are very difficult to be determined. Mainly, only a few values are emphasized, like the sanctity of life, and the government emphasizing these don't allow the personal decision about end of life decisions, and the government says it's Christian ethics and value that we protect the birth gender, and legally it's not allowed to change birth gender, birth sex, and a vast minority that is interested in it is oppressed by that. And marriage institution restricted in Hungary directly to man and woman, the opposite sex, and not the same sex. And this limit the right of the LGBTQ community living there according their standards. And the same-sex couples are barred to adopt children. So these Christian values are used in making some minorities in this society enmity image. And these minorities are weak to represent their interests. I think it's not a real Christian behavior. And there are real Christian values, for example, love your enemy, bless those who curse you. But I've never heard even one politician to speak these Christian values, but the opposition, or how to say, I saw that the so-called Christian politicians are ready to kill the character of their opponents and to make their opponents as enemies. It's not real Christianity. Yeah, I feel it. I emphasize it, even personally. The main cause of it, I think, roots in the nature of the politics in itself, as the power game in the public area, and in the nature of the human selfishness, or how to say. So the politics, as I mentioned earlier, thinks about the Christian churches as their ideological allies. It's not a problem, but the problem that the churches sometimes use political power to establish their power as well. For example, in Hungary, the church financing is dependent on the taxpayers. So government gives, so the taxpayers can offer for the churches 1% of the personal income taxes, and this means that the churches make I think not so holy contest for these money. And I think the other area of financing is the steering of the social institutions into the churches by financial means. I mean, each social and public school receives from the government normative support per capita, but the churches receive more because they receive some additional support as well. And this means that that many institutions wanted to join the churches, even if they were not church-related originally. And even mainly in the smaller villages or the situation became crazy when they had only just one elementary school or high school, and it became a church governed school. And it irritates non-religious people, and sometimes even enmity raises between the churches within the denominations, because the denominations that runs the school expect the students, the pupils, to become the church become influenced by the church, and those who belong to other churches are shamed, and it's not good. It's not good. It's unconstitutional, and the children cannot defend themselves. So it's not good. I think the self-moderation is very important, but as I see the politics from its very nature, it's not realistic expectation. But the churches, I think the churches, according to their higher ethics, should be moderate themselves. But as I mentioned earlier, the taxpayer finances are very, very strong temptation, where huge amount work, their temptation is higher. And sometimes church leaders are interested in the cash flow, and they have some personal benefits. And because of it, I think they can easily become dependent on the government. If the churches use their ministry, and I think the main social and educational ministry, on the taxpayer finances, and not by the church or denominations' own income, they are dependent on the government's benevolence. And if the government withdraws the support, the churches in a short time will collapse financially, and this is a very, very bad dependence of the churches. I think in the society, all who are teach anyone in public schools, elementary or higher education, and especially in the theological education, we should teach people for the, how to say, critical thinking, critical minded, that they cannot be easily drawn by tinted and politically aimed discourse, even in the robes of Christian ethics. So it's very important, and I think mainly, and this is the most important, that the church leaders, the priests and pastors do not use their authority to influence politically the church members, and those church officials should live out the real Jesus teaching, love your enemy.